Alright, ladies and gentlemen, what about this video? We're mainly here to give GuZheng her control rig to set the IK control chain for each joint. Before recording this video, I took the time to apply this material, but because I am using Unreal's default material, some viewers may wonder why it is so greasy after watching it. This is a greasy world. I don't spend much time on materials. What kind of texture does MMD itself provide? I can just paste it up. Unreal default material is used. If you don't think it looks good after finishing it, you can change it yourself. Many friends like the style of cartoon shader, but if you want to change that, you had to change the whole scene, the instruments. Otherwise, your instrument is PBR. Then the characters are cartoon style. It also looks strange. Okay, stop talking here. I'll open the GuZheng control rig first. Now it's completely empty inside. There's nothing there. In the style of my previous similar tutorials, I will demonstrate step by step how to do it, but it's really tricky to start from scratch. And in the Unreal, there is a simple way. We already have a ready-made example. It's GuZheng. He also plays the GuZheng because the controls we use are uniformly generated by plugins. They have the same name, so we can actually reuse. I can't say 100% reuse. A considerable part can be reused. Of course, reuse is not directly copied and pasted first. Let me give you a brief introduction to the structure of the control rig. First, the left hand and the right hand. There will be their IK chains. First, the IK chain on the arm. This is the one. The target it controls is upper arm, then the forearm, then the palm. This is the first IK chain. It's for the arm. Next are the individual fingers. We need to expand this item array. It shows you what their knuckles are. We can zoom in from the 123 knuckles of the finger, then to the fingertip. Then the effector transforms. We'll use the I finger control, which is the index finger. Pole target. IL pole. This is the configuration method of the finger IK node. The node name used is ARC distributed IK with pole target. This is a node I wrote, specially used to control the fingers of characters in the Music Doll series. The index finger is set like this. The same goes for the other fingers. Expand it and you'll know. It's just that the names of the fingers are different, but the whole structure is the same. Middle finger 123 knuckles, then middle finger fingertips, and then you control it with two controls. One is the effector. This is the tip of a finger. The other is the pole target. You can control the direction in which the joints bend. This is the middle finger. Then little finger, ring finger, and thumb. The above piece is the left hand. I'll shrink it. It looks better. The next piece is the right hand. The structure is the same. First, arm IK. The arm IK is an Unreal 2-bone IK. Then there is the IK of each finger. So, here's the hands. But it should be noted that the hands part is not the first to be executed. The order of execution depends on the sequence nodes behind the forward slower. The first execution is the part of the character closest to the root. That is to say, we're going to start at the nearest point to the human root and skeleton. After solving, continue to solve in the direction of the child bones. Why is this happening? Because if you solve for operator bones first, let's say I solve for the finger first, and then I'll come back and solve for the arm. The previous one is actually equivalent to not counting, because the arm bone solution results will affect the finger bones. In the same way, if you solve for the arm first, and we'll do the chest skeleton, that was for nothing, because the result of the subskeleton is calculated first, will be overwritten by the parent skeleton calculation result due to inheritance. So the actual sequence of computation, it must be the IK of the parent bone first, then solve the IK of the child bones. Chest first, then arms. And then finally, the fingers. The same principle applies to the lower body as well. Thighs first and then calves. If there are toes, finally solve for the toes. For our control rig, the order we actually execute is, let's start with something called a mid-hand. What is mid-hand? That is to say, we know that the left and right hands have two controls. There will be a control between the two hands, called the mid-hand. Because the characters are under any circumstances, they are all looking in the direction between the hands. It's pretty much in that direction. So it is necessary to calculate a mid-hand position first. This module is to directly use two hands control. One is H_L, another is H_R. Then calculate their mid. This uses a linear interpolation. The interpolation coefficient is 0.5. Calculate the midpoint position. Then apply the midpoint position to the mid-hand control. Mid-hand control is below. Of course, now it's hidden here at Zhang Li's waist, where we can't see it. There will be a child hanging under the mid-hand, called look at. That is to say, our character doesn't look right in the middle of the hand. It will also be slightly offset. To visualize this offset, a sub-control is added under the mid-hand. Call, look at this. It can be adjusted. They're actually looking at it. Generally speaking, look at the settings once and don't worry about it anymore. The character will keep looking at the changing position with the movement of the hands. Next, we're going to set the head orientation of the character. We're going to add a constraint to it, aim constraint. Its parameters are: child is head control. It looks at its parents. Just look at. Okay, then of course, here will be a series of parameters to choose. Which axis is this looking at the target? Now this is looking at the target with the z-axis. So we can see here in blue is the z. It points to this look at. The second parameter is the up axis, which is the y-axis. The green one, it's going to point up. Then comes the definition of what is above. I use the z direction by default. Basically haven't changed it. Okay, so when it comes to solving this step, it controls the head control. But controlling control is not the same as controlling bone. So next, we're going to use the head control affected by look at. Through it, it affects the upper body of the whole character again. So I did a basic IK on the upper body of the character here. This IK only controls 3 bones. Let's look at which 3 bones. First, this bone in the upper body. One more level up, sternum. Further up, the skull. This is an IK chain. In basic IK effectors transform the end bones. That's why, when it moves, people look in this direction. So this module above, it is the mid-hand of the whole character plus the control of the upper body. And then there's that left-handed plus right-handed chain that we talked about. The last part is less important, but also requires some control chain. It's the control chain of the foot. Although the feet don't move when playing, But at least when you start posing, still have to manage the feet. You have to put your feet on the ground. So we're still going to do a foot IK. This IK is actually the same as the IK of the arm. It also uses an IK2 bone node. Let's take a look at the IK on the right foot. The first skeleton is the foot, the arm. This is the thigh bone. And the second skeleton is the calf skeleton. The third bone is the foot. The effector used in this IK is F_R. The hand is H_R. Then the foot is F_R. Foot. R4 right foot. Then control the bending direction of the foot. Use this F_R_ pole. This is used to control the direction of the foot. So the whole control system is like this. In fact, it is not only the GuZheng control system that is like this. Almost all the instrumentalists I have developed to this day, piano GuZheng, and the control system of the harp is exactly the same. As for the violin and the guitar, it will be slightly different. Basically the same thing. It's just that some instruments don't have mid-hands. Some require the addition of additional bones that control the movement of the instrument. But in terms of character control, that's the whole thing. Okay, so that's the control system. So how are we going to apply this to GuZheng? Simple. We can copy and paste. Although I can't say it is 100% effective, but quite a few are effective. We Ctrl+Add+C, then come to the Hudao side. Then we Control and add V. It's all pasted over. Then we move them around. Let's ignore it for now. Let's load it first to see if there is any problem. It looks like there's a problem. It just blew up. Why is there a problem? Because although the control of the two characters is the same, but the bones are different. The orientation of the bones may be different. Skeleton names may also be different. So you see it exploding like this. Don't be afraid to explode. We are now disconnecting all connections. We hold the Alt, then break it all. Let's go one by one. Let's see which ones are faulty. Which ones are okay. Let's try the left hand first. The left hand seems to be fine. So let's take a look. To find the left hand control, hey, the left hand can move. Then look at the fingers of the left hand. Hey, you can also move your fingers. It seems to be fine. The fingers are a little deformed. Pole target location. Then take a look. Fingers are normal. Pole targeted wrong. What do? Let's tweak the pole target. Let's start over. Do you see it? It's just that the fingers are bending in the wrong direction. Pull all out. There's the index finger. There's the middle finger. When you move to these positions, your fingers are pointing in the right direction, like this, but I'm used to pulling it out of it. It's okay like this. Thumbs, we gotta take a look. There is a problem with the direction of the thumb. Just like this. Okay, we just need to put the position values of these pole targets now. Just set it to default. Okay, now we copy the current value and paste it into the default value. This way, we work a lot less. No need to deal with complex connections. Just need to adjust a few controls. Fortunately, the set of MMD skeletons we used has a similar naming convention. But it's not a problem that the naming conventions are different. We just need to adjust the other parts. There's one more place we need to pay attention to. Because we have not adjusted this, pull target of the arm, HP_L, because it should not be in this joint by default. It should actually move back a bit. It would be more appropriate to move to this position. Same here. We're going to copy its current value, apply to the initial value, and let's see what happens. No problem with hand movement. Okay, it can be controlled. Left hand, we're done. Next, let's get the right hand. Same here. Drag over. Let's check if there is any problem with the right hand. Same problem. We just need to adjust a few pull targets. Okay? Let's observe the effect now. Pay attention to the orientation of the fingers. It's the exact opposite. The big joint is directly knotted here, while in Blender, do you remember? The z-axis of the left hand is facing up, but the z-axis of the right hand is facing down. So here, with the same IK setup, the orientation is reversed. We just need to change the axis. Which axis do you want to change? Is the secondary axis direction of the finger. Then we change it to -1.0 here. Do you see it? This index finger is turned over. And the same goes for the middle finger. Then they are normal. It is because the axial direction is different that this result is caused. Then it's normal now. Okay, so here we go. We're going to move this HP_R back a little bit. Then copy its value. Save as default. Hand, we're done. So let's take a look at the feet. Connect directly. See if there is a problem. Yeah, there's a problem with the foot. With my seasoned experience, you can tell at a glance. The problem is that the main axis direction is reversed. Copied from Zhang Li, it is 1.0, but it is obviously reversed here. We change it to -1.0. This foot is normal. Now the knee is not facing right. Of course, the pole target of the foot hasn't been set yet. So let's move it out first. Move to the front. Same thing on the left. Let's move it out first. It's still not right after moving it out, but it doesn't matter. We save first. Why are your feet facing off? It's because the secondary axis is not selected correctly. We chose X here. It must be wrong. It shouldn't be the X-axis. But I don't know which axis it is. Let's test it and we'll know. The Y-axis is definitely not, because the Y-axis is the main axis. Then it should be the Z-axis. Let's try 1.0. 1.0 seems to be fine. Let me take a look. Then let's change it on the left to change to 1.0. Okay. This is the right direction. So, if you get it wrong, What does it look like? We change it to -1.0. The knee goes to the back. So this is a very obvious mistake. You can see it directly with the naked eye. Okay, so when we're done here, let's look at the actual control effect. Feet up. Then we can use this pole target. Control the orientation of the foot. Okay, that's okay. So what caused the explosion in the first place? That should be the partial explosion above. Then let's connect first. Then we debug to see where it explodes. It exploded again. Let's break the last node first and take a look. There is a high probability that the problem is at the end. I'm not 100% sure now. But let's take a look first. There will be no problem here, because it's all calculations between controls. These are unified and there will be no problem. It might be the bones. Let's see what this is. Here is the calculation between controls. Is to use C-head control to look at. There may be a problem with the direction here, but it shouldn't cause the head to explode. So it's most likely here. Let's look at basic IK. The upper body of the character is here. Then the second one is upper body too. So here's the problem. Because the Hu Dao skeleton we're using now, it's from upper body to upper body 3, then to the upper body 2, and then to the head. There is such a hierarchy, and Zhang Li is only level 3. The series are all different, so we have to change it. We can't use basic IK in a situation like this, because basic IK only supports 3 bones. Then let's find another IK. Let me take a look. If it really doesn't work, use this IK I wrote. Same as finger IK. Then we use this item array. And/or head control. Pole target. We use a look at main and secondary axis. Because we imported it from Blender, the main axis is usually the y-axis. Secondary axis, we are not sure now. I have to try it to find out. Let's try any value first. Okay, this situation can be seen. The head went directly below. This should be our spindle upside down. After setting it up, the head came up. Now take a look at the location of the look underscore at down there. Okay, I just tossed around for a while. I finally debugged it. What's the reason? The reason is that I wrote this IK node. It does not directly transform the effector at the end. Directly applied to the end bone. So we had to add this little bit. Apply head control transform to head skeleton. That's on the neck bone. Also, I fine-tuned the aim constraint. The parameters are as follows. First, the up axis. We're going to head control. Take a look at which axis is below it normally. So for example, green is the y-axis. Which axis is it facing up? That's negative y. So up this axis is set to negative y, and which axis is the positive direction of the face? The blue one is the z. We're going to make it look at the target using the z-axis. So aim axis here, we just set it to the z-axis. Others don't seem to have much impact. Now we can control the direction of the Hu Dao. Head up, head down. including the orientation of the body, can be controlled. Okay, so we're done with the Hudao chain. The chain of control is done. This look at position. The default location needs to be changed. Don't let Hutos keep their heads down. This is inappropriate. Put it in this position. Okay, so this episode ends here. Our issue is also about how to set up the character's control rig. Still the same sentence. You can study it slowly. But at first, I suggest you just copy and paste the existing control rig. Then just need to go to debug some places. Then you can use it directly. Okay, so that's what this episode is about. Thanks for watching. See you next time.